can excite you for the moment, but will not bring you the long-term happiness and joys. It is who you become that fulfill you. Find your true gift to be, to share, to give, or even more. First of all, I would like to wish our Muslim friend a Selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri. Welcome to CCC Creative Live Talks. My name is Natalie Sit. I'll be your host today. CCC is a platform to build an ecosystem by connecting the creative talents and businesses to grow Malaysia creative economy. And with the mission to build Malaysia as the creative industry hub in Asia. Before we start our talk show, just a friendly reminder, please invite you to join our CCC Facebook group and sign up to be our CCC members to be part of the community. Today, we are delighted to have our special guest. One of his popular quote is, if you want to be a leader, you must have the ideas. If not, you are simply a followers. Let's watch together the video to find out who is he. Let's welcome our CCC special guest today, Yang Amat Berbahagia Tun Dr. Mahathir. Good afternoon, Tun.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Selamat. I'm good. How about you, Tun?
Fine, thank you.
Selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri to you, Tun, and Tun Dr. Siti. And thank you for your precious time. Thank you for your precious time. I wish you have a meaningful Raya celebrations. It's really an honor to have you today. So how do you feel today?
I feel fine as usual.
So due to the COVID-19, we're expecting there might be a Great Depressions. And the last Great Depression is 1929. That time maybe Tun, you were just a baby. So the objective for this CCC Live Talks is to find out how we're going to turn this crisis into opportunity. And during this uncertain time, we really appreciate your wisdom to share with us, especially for the people who are struggling, especially for people who are running the business. Tun, what is your thought about this Great Depression? Is it coming or is already here?
It is partly already here, but it may become worse over time unless we learn how to handle it.
Would you expect this Great Depression will be worse than the 1929?
Yes, it will, because this time around, the cost is quite beyond our control until, of course, we perfect a vaccine to fight against the virus.
Talk about the vaccine, Tun, because your background is medical, so you're the doctor. And would you really believe in vaccine?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Vaccine has saved billions of lives. But of course, some people have got funny ideas. They think that it is not good. And as you know, when they stop taking vaccine, we have more cases of polio and also this throat problem because they didn't take vaccine.
And how about the vaccine? Would you think COVID-19 vaccine will be, out to the, to be so soon that we can have this vaccine in 5-10 years, or it will be in 6-12 months?
Normally, it takes time because you need to test the vaccine over a period of time. If it is only for 2 or 3 days, it's not going to be safe for us. We need to test for at least 6 months. So when this thing came about, and I understand that is a problem with vaccine, my thinking is that it will take us at least 18 months. So these 14 days plus 14 days plus 14 days may have to go on and on, because until we have a vaccine, we are not really safe from this disease.
Then my question to you is, because vaccines is not here yet, there is a lot of the businesses are struggling, Dun. I'm sure you know about that, especially in the cash flow. business is slowed down because of social distance, because of no one is spending. So can you give some advice to the entrepreneurs how to overcome this critical time?
Yeah, the action taken is very good. For example, your lockdown is very essential because infection occurs through contagion, through being near a person with the disease. We are not very sure about the transmission, but we do feel that if you are far away from a person with the disease, you are less likely to be affected. But if you get too close, obviously the distance is very important. We estimate that if you are 1 meter away, that's enough. But even if you are 1 meter away and there is a gust of wind blowing somebody's spittle or cough towards you, you'll get it. You see, but normally with people who are not coughing, not sneezing, and all that, we are quite safe at 1 meter, but we are not 100% safe. So that is the first action that needs to be taken to keep yourself away from people who may be infected. The next thing, of course, is that we must know where the virus have landed. For example, it may have landed on the balustrade in when you are coming down staircase. That is why it is necessary to repeatedly, clean repeatedly, and then you have to do all the checks on the throat and nose to find out whether you actually have the virus. And if you have, of course, you have to be isolated, you have to be treated. All these things are being done now because I'm glad to see that this government has allowed professional to run the campaign against the virus. Had it been a politician, I think we'll be in grave trouble. You see what's happening when a politician like Trump makes a decision, or Bolsonaro of Brazil, uh, thousands of people will die. But I think this is the time when the politicians should take the advice of professional or leave it to the professional to handle it.
So will you see this period will be a long period, let's say for to do this all sanitize and make sure that the virus is not spread, social distancing will be like 6 months, a year at least?
Yes, it will take at least, my estimate at first is about 18 months for doing
Wow.
the testing, because you have to test and see over a period of time, because you can't do this for 3 days, 4 days. It's not going to work.
Yes.
So that will take time. And we have to study the people who have been given the vaccine, whether in fact they are protected or the vaccine lasts only for a short period, whether even after the virus disappears or seems to have no symptoms, whether the virus is still there. All these things need to be carefully checked because you want to give the vaccine to millions of people. If the vaccine fails,
Oh,
millions of people are going to die.
yes. Yes, that is the risk. So, Tun, you say 18 months, but what about the business and people who lost their job? It will be very struggling for them. So I
Yeah.
think most of the businesses we are using a government has given us an economy stimulus package, giving us a loan and low interest, deferment of the tax and the wages subsidies. But these few things, which is good initiative from the government, but it's just that maybe it's not very effectively to really helping effectively helping a SME business. So what is your advice to especially small business?
The first thing to do is to understand this disease, this infection through a virus. If you understand that, then you will know what you can do, what you cannot do. For example, if you know that the virus can be stopped by spreading sanitizing the place, then you should do that and do that often. So when you understand the disease, now I've been trained as a doctor. As a doctor, I know I must know the disease first before I can treat the disease. At this moment, understanding of this virus is not full yet. We need to know more about it, and studies must be made about how this virus can become so very so very infectious through to other people. Once you know that, then you can erect barriers. You can have a whole building protected from the virus. So people can who are free can work in the building without having to keep your distance. But if you don't know whether the building is sanitized or not, of course, you have to ensure distance, social distance is practiced. There are lots of things that we need to know about the nature of this particular virus. And if we know that they respond, for example, to heat. You know, one politician suggested, he was a doctor. He suggested drinking hot water. Of course, you drink hot water, you are going to get into trouble. On the other hand, when you have a cough, you do take something to clean your throat. And
Yes.
hot water normally kills germs. So
Yes.
we need to study what temperature. Would the man survive if he drinks hot water? So all these things need to be studied very carefully. Once you find out that maybe there are some liquid that can kill the germ but not kill the man. You see, so you
Yeah.
can use that liquid to gargle. The same thing that you do with coughs and colds. You see, so we need to understand fully this particular virus, how it affects people, how fast it can infect other people, and how is it conveyed between man and man or between animals and man. All these things need careful study. While they're looking at the vaccine, understand the disease. If you understand the disease, then you can cure the disease.
Dun, I have two questions for you. One is because we flooded with all the information everywhere. I also try to find to understand this, but I don't know who I should trust. Can you give us few sources which is have a better credit? We can trust. Where can find this information?
There is no single person or laboratory that you can give 100% trust. And see,
Okay.
we have to understand that these are human beings and they
Mm-hmm.
always make mistakes. So we need to read a lot about all the different researches being carried out, the vaccines that have been developed, and probably the medicine also, the medicine that can cure. Although it is vaccine, but there are medicine that can probably shorten the period or lessen the effect. So you need to read a lot to know what is happening and to keep on following the results of the experiments being carried out. So I wouldn't say that you can say, well, if it comes from this laboratory in Wuhan, therefore it must be true. It's not like that at all. We have to examine every source of information.
At the same time, we're fighting the source of the COVID, but as a business also, we are fighting out the solution.
Yeah.
So I would like to get your very specific advice for the small business owner, how they can overcome all this cash flow problem. Sales is not there, slow down.
Yeah, it is not just a person who is going to sell, it's also the people who are going to buy. If the people who are going to buy are limited, are restricted, and all that, obviously there will not be a market. So we have to understand that people now are very poor, especially the poor, they become very, very poor. Some of
Mm.
them in England for 4 days, you find that English workers were starving, not taking any food at all. So, what is the solution? The solution, of course, is to be able to identify, to know where they are, to inquire regarding their needs, and to supply them. Some will be able to buy, others will not be able to buy because they are not earning any money. Here, the government may have to come in to provide them with money, or better still, give them vouchers with which
Yes.
they can buy necessities, not money, because money you may buy drugs or cigarettes and things like that. So these are all possible action that we can take, and we must learn how to disinfect a whole building and see to make sure that if you stay in the building, you're safe, because you assume that in your own house you are safe. That is why they lock in. When you stay in your house, the assumption is that the house is free. So why only the house? We can have a big building which is free from the virus. And we must speed up identification of cases. Already they have reduced it. The first time I went there, it took 3 days to find out whether I was infected or not after they take the swab. Now it is 1 day. But new research is being made in order to be able to identify it almost immediately. So if it is immediate, then every person entering a building can be checked, and the next day when he comes, you check again. Because when you check today and find he is negative, you cannot be sure that next day he's not going to be positive. So you have to check every day. They go to a place that is sanitized, they work there, they go home, and then when they come back again, like they use the temperature. Temperature is not very accurate.
Accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we need to find ways. Maybe color of skin, things like that will have to be investigated so that we can say, no, today you don't come to work because you are, well, you are probably already
Suspicious.
in
Yeah.
the asymptomatic stage of having the virus.
So, Tun, there is some of the business owner even say, right, because as you mentioned that now nobody is buying. So mostly people who buy is essential goods. Some of the retail business like restaurants, some of the owner, they even say that, I rather close down my business right now and wait until the economy is recovered, then only I come back. The losses is much more lesser than I, keep sustain my people and retain my people and my pay for the rent. So what's your thought on this?
Well, a restaurant can cook, then there may be some products that they can cook and preserve and sell. So don't stop. Find out how you can make use of whatever assets that you have under under the present circumstance. What is the present circumstance? That it is very easy to get exposed. So nowadays you have Grab, you have Grab, you have this transportation that you can sell online. Business online is going to catch on, and in future, even when there is no more a pandemic, we will use this online trading much more, and the new business will be based on transportation, healthy, good transportation, and connection, our ability to talk to our customers like I'm talking to you. You can phone up the restaurant. Hey, what do you have on online? Then you can talk to the man. I mean, this is the new way of marketing. Don't wait for people to come. In their own house, they can talk to you, tell you what they want. You can cook, you can prepare pack it nicely, special containers, send it to the house. I mean, there must be new ways of doing business under the circumstances, because fortunately we have this system where we can look at the person, talk to the person, discuss with him. And of course, the business of having conferences, people with this facility can cater for conferences. Maybe big conferences also eventually will be catered, because, as you know, the moment you talk, the sign goes that this is the person talking. So you have a crowd of 1,000. The moment somebody talks, it appears on the screen. If he doesn't talk, it doesn't appear, and you can see the whole crowd. All these things are new things. Fortunately for us, we have this new technology, and this new technology must be studied carefully to find out what else we can do. Already, as you know, this online business is very big, and it can become bigger. You know, you literally can go to the shop and buy without being in the shop. You are in the house, you go to the shop, you can examine the whole shop and identify what you want, etc. You see, so these are the new ways of doing things. Don't just stop, think. If you can do cooking, maybe you can do something else.
So then what you mean is have to be very creative, have to learn how to transform, and then put your business online so that you can not sell to the people nearby. You can sell to everywhere because there is a transportation. So I think I think that is something that maybe the retail, the restaurants have to consider that. But what about the manufacturing then? In 2019, China exported approximately 2.3 trillion US dollars worth of the goods to everywhere, including Malaysia. And Malaysia, I think, is very highly depends on the China, the parts and all the supply. So it's affected for the supply chain. So shall we move to the Southeast Asia? We try to find others manufacturing to help us on this.
Yeah, we can still manufacture, but we must know the new market, the needs of the people. For example, if you manufacture gloves, obviously there is a market. But if you manufacture maybe musical instrument, the market is not very big, because people are now saying back they haven't developed online entertainment that much. Eventually they will, but you must understand the new market. But one thing that is fantastic now is that the whole world has become your market. No longer is your market confined to your town nearby or to the market nearby. The market is the whole world. I know of one person who makes cakes. He or she used to sell the cake through the shops, through the coffee shop, but the sale was not very good. But she went online. Suddenly, her market extended from Malaysia to the Middle East, and she has so many customers, 90,000 customers. So today the market is huge. You don't think of manufacturing only for the local market. What is needed in local market may be very limited, but there are people all over the world who like to buy what you produce. Use the online marketing and advertise online, and also and establish ways of talking to your customer. You know, like we are talking now. This was never able before. I
Yeah.
remember the first time they wanted to do televised this conference. It was not easy. You had to put the camera in front of you. You can't see the person. Now you don't have a camera in front of you, but I can see you completely, and you can see me. So these are new power, I will call it. the power to use the media to do normal things. What are the normal things? The things that you have to have food, you have to have certain necessities. These are normal, but there may be new things that you can market. So already I see in the papers some people are actually coming out with new ideas, new products.
So Tun, would you encourage a business owner to get the loan right now to overcome this cash flow problem? But this is not free money, we have to pay back later.
Yes, of course. When you borrow, you have to pay in good time. But I think banks will be very lenient uh, over time, and governments too must help. In some cases where people just cannot make any money at all, cannot, the government must give money to them or give vouchers to them so that they can live, they can eat basic needs. But then, if he is going to do some business, there is a whole lot of things that can be done. Certainly, food business is very good because people
Yeah,
cannot.
essential.
Yeah, they want to go out to market and all that. That is difficult. But you can have the restaurant can come up with special packages. You know the Japanese, they have this
Mhm.
obento. You know
Yeah,
the obento, yeah, the box. Yeah?
yeah.
It's become big business. At one time, it was not big business, but now it has become big business.
Because
Even before the epidemic, you buy one whole box, it's already everything is there. And so we need to do that kind of thing too. And we can think of better packaging, better ways of preserving, identifying what can be kept long and what can be frozen. All these things will help you go into new areas of business.
yeah, then follow just now you say there is a lot of opportunity. Although now is a critical time, but also many people they see this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. For example, if you want to buy business, this is a cheaper price that you want to acquire business. Would you encourage the young generation to continue to work for the paycheck, or they should have more guts to start their own business?
Well, paycheck is something very well regular. You don't have to bother what will you'll get at the end of the month. But business, of course, cannot be certain. But business can give you unlimited wealth. Paycheck cannot give you unlimited wealth. So while you are having paychecks, think about what you can do to go into business. Go into business much better. But of course, some people have to work. They have to be paid salaries. So there is a combination of the two. But when you have acquired, supposing you are working for a salary in a company, that company you realize uh, needs to have certain parts or components or inputs or raw material. If you think about it, then you say, well, why don't I supply the raw material? Why don't I look at the transportation? Why don't I look at the packaging? All these things give you ideas, new things that you can do after you have been earning a salary.
And we know that there is most of the people, especially maybe young generation right now, they live from the paycheck to paycheck. Would you say the young generation right now they are struggling for their living, or maybe you can advise on that?
Well, experience is very important. If you observe things where you are working, you may see some opportunities. In the meantime, work and work hard and deliver the best that you can for the salary that you are being paid. But you are also able to learn, to gain experience, examine the new knowledge that you have from doing work. What can you do to enhance the productivity, for example? So it doesn't have to be today, tomorrow. It may take a long time, may take a year, it may take 2 years. But I have seen a lot of people who before were wage earners now become billionaires. You see, because
Mhm.
they see opportunities.
So, how about those who are unemployed right now? Because a lot of businesses close down, a lot of people lost their job, and what's your advice to them? Start their own business.
Uh,
Maybe do something.
if they have some idea, yes, but don't do something that you don't know anything about. You see,
Mm,
if
yeah.
your skill is in cooking, okay. If your skill is in carving, okay. If your skill is in producing certain components, okay. But you must have some idea. But without any idea, you go into business because so and so has done well in this business, you're going to get into trouble. So give yourself time, suffer a little. You have to expect to be suffering quite a bit. You know, the Chinese and Indian people, when I was a boy, they were just coming to Malaysia. When they
Mhm,
were very poor, they came here as laborers. I ask
mhm.
myself now, where are their children and grandchildren? They are no longer laborers. What happened is that their parents came here, worked hard, saw opportunities, and then their children get better educated and they slowly build up. I am
Mm.
sure that many of the Chinese millionaires in Malaysia, their great grandparents came here as very poor people.
So challenges will always make us grow.
Yes, you have to accept. When there are challenges, there are opportunities.
So, as we know that if nothing happened, 9th of June, CMCO will be lifted if nothing happened. Okay, we don't know will extend or not. If later Tun, you probably can share with us. So if let's say nothing happened, everything will getting back to normal after MCO. So what are the business opportunity that you think is worth to explore? For example, if let's say you want to start a business soon, what is your first choice?
Well, supposing you were a hawker before, selling
Mm-hmm,
fruits on the roadside, you can go
mm-hmm,
back to that. But you have to be very careful. Although they have
mm-hmm,
lifted this thing, but you have also to remember that the disease can come back, the virus can come back. So always keep yourself cleaner than before. Wash your hands. If you have to wear mask because I mean it doesn't cost you very much. But it's better to always assume that in the air there may be some virus. So you have to be careful. Don't do things, go into a big crowd because you don't know whether they are silent carriers or not. So avoid big crowd if you can. So life is going to be not normal anymore. It's going to be a new normal.
So, what about in technology, software, or maybe online business or e-commerce? Would you encourage, we should focus more on this direction of the business point of view?
Yeah, this is a new area. For example, nowadays there's automation,
Mm-hmm,
robot, and things like that.
mm-hmm,
To make automatic machine work, you have to program. Robots also you have to program. So learning how to program is a very important skill. Once you learn how to program, then you can control robots. And now, as more and more factories will use automated machine and robots, they will need programmers. So learning how to program is very important. But nowadays, for example, uh, 3D printing, 3D printing is
mm-hmm.
very cheap now. At first, we was run into millions. Now, for a few $100, you can have a small machine that can do 3D printing, and you can think about what can I produce. Then you have some components. You even metal things nowadays you can print. So this is another area that we can go into because there are lots of things that are needed. The only thing about 3D printing is that it takes time. Because it takes time, you need to have a whole series of machines.
Yeah.
Same program producing the same thing. So these are opportunities, many opportunities. And nowadays, machines are very cheap, small machines that do carving for you. They can do a lot of things for you. So, well, you are producing something that you have to produce in numbers. By hand, it takes a long time. But the machines, you do carving, you do this heat, uh, uh, you burn the letters on wood. All these things are machine. You can use those machine. An investment of maybe 1,000 or 2,000 or maybe 200,000, but the production is very high. Carving, for example, can be done by machine. The finishing work will be done by you by hand.
So what Tun say is use this critical time as a learning curve to learn as much as you can to discover what is a new opportunity. Probably by normal time you won't have the chance to do it, right?
Yes.
So,
One of the things
uh, mhm. Yes,
One
Tun.
thing you can do is to get magazine that advertise all these things. You learn a lot from magazine. I read the popular mechanics, popular science. I read a lot of these books, and I see a lot of opportunities for people here to do business, but they don't know about this thing because they don't read. Read a lot of technical books.
So we know this is a critical time, but we also believe not all the businesses are affected by COVID-19. For example, if you're selling a toilet paper, most probably you're making a better profit in past few months, right? So for those who are less affected, Tun, would you encourage them to, plan to venture out of Malaysia? So they should go for Southeast Asia, ASEAN, or maybe China's. So is that a focus if let's say you're less affected from this COVID-19? You have a very strong foundation and the support.
Exactly. As I said just now, the market now is very big. The whole world is your market. The demands of the whole world is a lot. For
Yeah.
example, before the gloves and all that, not very much required. But now the market is huge. The whole world buys gloves from Malaysia. There was no glove industry before. But now look at us. We have built a great glove production facility. We can supply the whole world. So this is a great opportunity because suddenly the market has opened and you must know what is needed by the market. And then you can produce and sell to a much bigger market. So the opportunities are
What
there.
What is your suggestion? Which region? Southeast Asia, ASEAN, Europe,
Well,
Singapore, or maybe China?
begin with your own country first and then
Mm-hmm.
study your neighbors. After your neighbors, study further apart, further away. But the nearest one is the easiest because we understand their needs. And see, so we can produce for their needs.
Okay, thank you, Tun. Thanks for your sharing. Tun, we would like to share with you one of the CCC initiative is a ACA Championship. ACA Championship is a global competition to test the student design skill. It's a platform for the student to showcase their artwork and to compete in the World Championship in US. To prerequisite at the World Championship, you must pass the industrial certification. I would like to take a 1 minute to show you the digital artwork that illustrate from our last year ACA champion grand winner. And actually, we sponsor him represent Malaysia to the World Championship in New York. His name is Lokman Hakim. He's from OPSI. And this is the artwork that yesterday I called him. I said, we are having this conversation with Tun, and do you have anything you want to illustrate? And this artwork actually is just crafted yesterday by few hours. And how do you like it, Tun?
Yeah, it's very good. Very good. Yeah. It's a kind of cartoon. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why we all know that Malaysia we have a lot of creative talents, and with your background, probably in your generation that times, most of our parents actually will encourage our kids to be a doctor like you, lawyer, engineers, architects. So in your opinion, in this century, academic qualification like diploma, degrees, or PhD is more important, or the industrial certification is more important for their career opportunity?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this, for example, uh, drawing now becomes easy because you can use your computer and the computer will make corrections where you go wrong.
Mhm.
So you learn to use the computer for design. Well, Proton has got this facility. A friend of mine also has got this facility. They drew design of cars, beautiful cars, you know, and actually those cars were actually produced here because the computer helps you how to design, and then you can look at this way, that way, this way, and everything is in 3D. You draw something, then the 3D dimension comes in. So learning how to use the computer for design is very important. I went to the Lake Garden. They have there a center for cartoons. I was amazed that our people can draw fantastic figures and things like Ultraman or something like that, Spider-Man. They can draw very well. But before there was no opportunity. Now there is a lot of opportunity. People want to see animated things. You know, Malaysia has produced animation that are of world quality. Before we
Yeah.
never thought we could, but now we can. So making use of computer for designing things is very, very important skill. You can design anything, including for. I was surprised the other day. I took a picture of a clock, nice clock, and I gave it to this man. He produced exactly the same. He programmed it to produce on his machine. So today, the machines are fantastic. They can help us. And there are a whole series of machines that we can use. Making our basic skill is design. But design by itself is not enough. You have to produce the end product. So design
Mhm.
from design to actual production, today the different steps are available and machines are available.
Would you say the industrial certification now is more important than the traditional academic?
Yeah, you ask the Germans. The Germans is more concerned about your skill to do things
Yes.
rather than the theory of doing things. But when you are doing something, I was trained as a doctor. The
Mhm.
idea of trying to understand the human body was to me frightening. How can I do this? But when you went in and carve and cut the cadaver, you learn that when you cut here, this is what you find and all that. And that sticks in my memory. If I read about it, I will not remember where this vein goes to, where this nerve goes to, and all that. But having dissected the cadaver, I can remember exactly where the where the where the organ is. You see, and even the shape of the organ, the color of the organ.
So, Dun, is Malaysia doing good enough to embrace this industrial training, skill training, or are we still very focused on the academic? Because you've been a Minister of Education, so we want to hear from you.
Yeah, I had revised the curriculum, and then I lost my job. I am no longer doing it. But I had put in place all the things that you learn, that you need to learn in order to make a living afterwards, not just acquire knowledge. It's fine to learn history, or we came from there and we fought different wars and all that. but the most important thing is the knowledge that can be used to earn you a living. So we are switching away to that. That is why I have promoted the idea of teaching science and maths in English. It's
Mm-hmm.
because it is a moving knowledge. It's not a static knowledge. You know, you learn about history in the year 1774, this thing happened. It cannot change. But in case of science, every day new discoveries are being made. And if you think about the new discoveries, you can think about application. Of course, some people, whenever they find something new, they think about killing people. You know, they want to make weapons. I'm very much against that. But when you have things like laser and all that, you know, the discovery of laser has now made it possible for you to reach faraway places, to be very accurate, to be able to cut things. All this come from knowledge. The knowledge, if you extend it, you can make use of the knowledge for a lot of things. So this is why the study of science and math is very, very important. But of course, you must have your basic knowledge of
Basic, yes, yes.
that is okay. But today's world is a world of science.
Mm-hmm. Why you say that? The world of science.
Yeah, because everything is, you know, before, can you shout so that this chap in New York can hear you? You cannot. Today, you don't have to shout. You have a small thing in your pocket. You talk. You can talk. He
Uh,
can hear you. You see, so that is scientific contribution,
mm,
because you learn that there are waves in the air that can carry the signal. The signal can be converted into sound, and you can use an instrument to hear the sound, even to see the face, even to hear, to see, like now, we're talking to each other. No wires, no nothing. You know?
mm-hmm.
Scientific discoveries. And in the minds of man, when you discover something, you have to think positively how to use it. You know, at one time we discovered these X-rays. We use X-rays a lot, but now X-rays is dangerous because you may get cancer and things like that. But you, over time, you learn how to apply X-rays to other things. You want to see this the whole body, for example, a dead body, or you want to see the insides of things. You can use X-rays, and then they discover sound. For us, sound is what you hear now, but sound has it is it bounces off. You see, echoes. Now with sound, you can actually see the heart. The heart is moving. You know where exactly is disease and all that. So when you discover something, you think about application. And
So
that is scientific.
we
But
have to embrace the sound and the technology, the combination of the science and the technologies, right?
yeah,
So, Dun, creative crowd community, as we are very embraced in this creative economy, and there is some of the statistics I would like to show you about the creative industry. The global map of a cultural and creative industry (CCI) by Ernst and Young 2015. It creates a global CCI market revenue, which is worth US dollars 2,250 billions, and it created 29.5 millions of the job opportunity. And for the APAC regions, that it took up 33% of the revenue, which is 743 billions revenue. That was 5 years ago because we don't have any latest statistic. And the job opportunity is include the graphic design, video editor, animator, UI UX experience designer, and they all are the creative content creators. Tun, we would like to get your maybe your opinion. What's your encouragement to the Malaysians, especially young generation, to contribute in this creative industry and creative economy?
Yeah. We must know about the new powers that we have available to us. Before it was fire. Fire can heat and then drive things, and then you have water power. You have, but now we have this fantastic power of communication and ability to send signals through radio waves. So when once you understand that, then you can think about application. What can I use this for? You know, in the past, you send signal by tapping the codes, huh? But nowadays you just pick up a phone and talk. So it is a matter of thinking. Look, this is something that has been discovered. How do I make use of it? If you have some idea, then of course you will make a lot of money. What happens to Bill Gates is that he has a lot of ideas. He knows that this is communication is done this way. Now, how do I apply this communication? And he became a billionaire because of the ideas. The thing is available to everyone, but people don't apply their minds to it, so they don't become Bill Gates. But
Mm.
other people think, oh, now you can send a message. What else can you do? Lots of things you can do nowadays. You can actually have a robot perform surgery from a distance. You see, that is the result of thinking. You have the power. So I would say that young people must learn about communication and the means of communication for doing good things. I have always been very unhappy because the Chinese develop explosive. They use it to scare away ghosts, make a big noise, scare away ghosts. But in the hands of the European, the first thing they are, oh, I can send more bullets further away. I can kill more people. And now they are building nuclear bombs and all that. All started from explosion, something that explodes. What can you use? You can use it for a bad thing, but you can also use it for a good thing. But always think about good things.
Yes, I think that is the most important thing we learn from you, that you always have a very positive mindset. So the next session, the last session of our today is, Tun, we would like to know more about you. 2 years ago, you were elected as the seventh Prime Minister for Malaysia as 92 years old. And Tun, do you know that you have set a very high benchmark to the age of for the age of retirement? But you also give so much of hope to the elderly peoples. So at this stage of your life, what are you grateful for? And can you share with us 3 things that you truly grateful for?
Well, I'm very grateful that I should live beyond the number of years I had expected to live. I thought that 75 would be enough for me, but now I'm almost I'm 94 now. This is a bonus. It's a bonus for me. I'm very grateful. It's not.
Mhm.
It's not something that I can, uh, well, get for myself just like that. But because I am able to live, I think that I should make use of my life usefully. You see, because this is a bonus given to me.
So that's the only thing you're grateful for?
Well, I'm
Do
grateful.
you share with us one more things that you're grateful for of your personal life?
Personal life, I am, well, I've been married for 60 over years with one person only. And see that I am grateful. And see many people get bored with one person. I don't.
Yeah. Okay. So we are living in uncertainty due to the COVID-19, and people are very fearful for the future. And Tun, your impression to us at you're not fear of anything, nothing can fear you. So we would like to hear from you how you overcome the fear and how you deal with the uncertainty.
Fear is always there. But, if you are going to worry about these things, you're not very positive. You're not very, you can contribute anything. So whether you like it or not, you're going to die. And see, okay, the time will come when you die. But before that, why should you waste your time? And see, do something. And see, so I live a very active life because I feel that this bonus of time given to me should be useful, employed usefully. I have lots of people come to see me and ask me to do this thing and that thing. I would like to rest. I don't want to be disturbed. But people ask me, please do something. Please do something. So I just
We
cannot.
hope that we are not disturb you this session.
No, no, not at all. No, I enjoy this. I enjoy this. You see, I live a very active life. I always tell people that when you grow old, remain active, because if you like to sleep, and everybody who's old, they like to lie down and sleep. You don't use your muscle, you don't use your brain, you don't use your ability to think about things, then you will, uh, well, yeah, what do you call it?
The
You,
engine is old, and you need to make it new again by keep using the engine,
yeah,
keep
must use,
them moving.
especially the brain.
Yeah.
A lot of people, when they are old, they're very forgetful. I'm forgetful also. But I keep on thinking all the time. The things that I think of, I don't forget. So if I don't think, then I'm going to forget a lot of things.
I
So
saw one
make,
of the in the yeah, I saw one of the interview you using one of the small notebook to write down all your important things in case you forgot, right?
yeah, I don't trust my brain. And see, you forget. So it's always keep a book to write down to remind you.
Okay, so Dun, we are living in this social media world, and it is too easy to say something without responsibility, right? How do you deal with the hatred in the social media or negative comment?
Well, it is unfortunate. You see, I always tell people that a knife is a very useful thing. You can carve very beautiful objects with a knife, but you can
Mhm.
also peel, kill people with a knife. It's not the knife that is bad, it is the person. So the person must learn good values. From young, you must still teach your children good values. What is good, what is bad, what is forbidden, what is allowed. All these things, when you are young, you must be taught. My mother taught me, and I never forget her, her teachings, never to take what doesn't belong to me and things like that. From small, I was told about this. So it's easy later on that you can reject the desire to do wrong things.
So the most important education is have to be start from your parents, start from your family, right? Okay, so
Yeah,
Dun, the next question is going to be a tough question. Are you ready?
yeah.
With the following, who do you admire the most? Michael
Now,
Jackson? Yeah, first choice is Michael Jackson, and second one is Steve Jobs, and the third one is Doraemon.
Steve Jobs,
Can we know why? Can you tell us more?
because he has got this kind of minds I admire. A mind that is inquiring, that is always trying to find new things and application of new things, a mind that goes out beyond beyond the box.
Okay, so we have an unexpected answer because me and my team will guess that Tun will like Doraemon. Okay,
Yeah.
so Tun, this will be the last question for this sessions. We appreciate your time. So my last question is, everyone has a dream. We have a dream car, we have a dream house, dream job, dream wife, or dream husband, or any dream. So, Tun, what is the dream Malaysia looks like to you? What's your dream Malaysia looks like?
Well, I have always been dreaming about Malaysia. I want this country to become a developed country, a stable country, a peaceful country.
Thank you, Tun. So, before we end the sessions, we make a short video for you. I hope you enjoyed it.
Okay.
Puji dan syukur pada Ilahi, anugerahnya tiada terhingga, kedamaian, kemakmuran, Malaysiaku bahagia. Dengan tekad untuk berjaya, berbakti pada nusa dan bangsa, kami junjung cita-cita luhur, perpaduan seluruh negeri, sehias sekata sehati sejiwa.
Thank you, Tun. So before we end the session, do you have any things you want to wrap up for, to the nation, to people who are listening?
Well, only one thing. Love your country.
Thank you, Tun. Thank you. Please stay healthy, stay humor, and stay happy. I hope can see you next time. Thank you. Thanks for people who joining us today. Everyone stay healthy. God bless you. Bye.
Take my hand and we'll go away to a different place. Float on air and we'll hide away. I'll be your escape. Look up and feel the shifting winds tossing us around again. Hold tight, get ready to begin and just levitate. No control.